Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday, the 8th of June. My name's Philip Kingston.
I'm Gary Peer.
Gary, what is going on in the state of Victoria? I know it seems to be repetitive. We seem to be slamming everybody left, right and centre on this show, but gee, what is it about this putrid, diseased state that we live in? In fact, there should be, Gary, police tape right around the state of Victoria. You know, you cannot cross this line. Police tape, hazard warning signs, hazard signs, and people in white clothes and masks walking around going, stay out, diseased and toxic. It's a toxic dump. It's a cesspool, this state, Gary.
No, it's you're very down on Victoria, Phil. As somebody born in New South Wales, as you have been, I suppose, you know, you're probably not really the loyal Victorian that we once thought you were, Phil. So
well, you know what, Gary, I do have dual nationality, but hasn't allowed me to escape to that lovely, clean state with that gorgeous jewel in the crown called Sydney, a city and a state that we've bagged mercilessly over our journey. But all of a sudden, are they having the last laugh, Gary?
And not only the last laugh, but what a big laugh and what a long laugh they're having, Phil, as we talk about the beast and this wildly contagious virus. And, you know, I've got to say that I had a few people who watched the show last week who said we got a bit political, Phil. And I don't think we really are political people, but we certainly are unhappy with the way that we're in the situation we're in. So you can read into that what it is. I don't think we should be in this situation. I don't think we should be.
Do you know, Gary? Victoria used to market itself in New South Wales. We were the fashionable European city of the Southern Hemisphere. That's the way we marketed ourselves, and we used to market ourselves. You know, we've got these gorgeous, cool laneway bars, and the shopping's so much better because we've got 4 seasons, not one like they do in Sydney. So we marketed ourselves as this lovely place to visit. But I think that the marketers really need to be looking at remarketing Melbourne. Now, I saw a very interesting piece of footage on some intellectual show, Gary, that you would never have watched, but I was watching something on the ABC or SBS On Demand. And I've got the new marketing way I've got the new way to repackage Melbourne as a basis of a show that I watched on SBS On Demand. And what was it about, Gary? I know that's where you're coming from. I know that's what you're going to be asking the question. What is this show? Well, then wait for this. They are now running tours of Chernobyl, right? So this has become a big thing on the tourist. The tourists are now flocking to Russia to go on walking tours of Chernobyl. It comes with all of it comes with hazard gear. It comes with disclaimers. You've got to sign a disclaimer that if you become poisoned or you end up with cancer, you cannot come back. But this is going to be the new toxic tours of Victoria. I can see it coming.
Well, it could be a ghost tour as well if everybody's left in the state, Phil, because it might get vacated. But it is definitely a concern, Phil. And, you know, you hear about the state of New South Wales and, you know, it's not political, what I'm saying. It's just the fact, never been in lockdown for a minute. You know, there's a Victorian that goes there. They have one case. They don't worry because they just depend on their tracing system. But, hey, Phil, I've got an idea. I think the tracing system should be put in the hands of estate agents and just say that the virus is like buyers, because buyers don't escape real estate agents, right? No. I reckon that you should actually put the tracing system in the hands of real estate agents, because at the actual core of it, that really is, to me,
it's genius, Gary. It's absolute genius. And imagine, let's take this one step further. As you know, I always overdo everything, right? I take it one step too far. But imagine if you say this to Melbourne's estate agents: for every, what's the median priced sale in Melbourne now, Gary? Call it $1 million. Call it $1 million, right? And call the average commission in Melbourne 2%, right? Now, imagine if the Victorian government just says, there's no more contact tracing, there's no more health department, there's no more health officials. We're going to give every real estate agent a 2% fee on the median price sale, right? So it's $20,000 for estate agents to catch these super spreaders. I'm telling you, Gary, somebody's just got to get off the plane, and some agent will be there around the baggage carousel, and we'll nab them early. I think it's genius, Gary. Genius.
Phil, this is a show that provides solutions, Phil. That's not just a real estate show. It provides solutions. We're providing solutions to COVID, problems in the Middle East, climate crisis. We've got it all here on GPTV. It's so much more than just a real estate show.
So viewers, if you've got a problem, if you've got an issue, you are struggling to solve something complex, ideas at garypeer.com.au. We're guaranteed within 60 seconds of Gary and I brainstorming, we've got the solution. We are a solutions-focused business, Gary. Speaking of solutions and speaking of political shows, Gary, let me just say this. The word on the street, and this is how political this whole thing must be becoming, Gary, the word on the street in certain circles is I'm starting to hear murmurings and mutterings about let's bring back Jeff Kennett.
Oh, now I have seen a few interviews with Jeff Kennett. I have to admit that to you. And now you're going to start with some very, very, you're baiting me into some sort of right-wing support discussion here. But there have been some interviews with him, so some pro-Kennett people saying, "Oh, come on back, Jeff, come on back." But I don't think he's going to be coming back somehow. But
well, Gary, I'm hearing lots of rumours, like there are some certain rumours around the good state premier, Gary, not the acting one, but the good state premier. We're starting to see some chatter on social media. So sometimes there is smoke where there is fire, but often, Gary, there's just smoke and no fire. But you know what? Anything's possible, but ultimately we're not going to buy into the stupid stories that circulate on social media. Because Gary, we do know one thing about social media: we're all obsessed about it, but 99% of the stuff on social media is absolute bullshit. There is no facts there whatsoever. But having said that, of course, everything you see on social media about Gary Peer and Associates, it's all factual.
Unless it's bad, in which case it's not. Phil, Donald Trump's had a ban for a couple of years extra. Yep. He's had his sentence reviewed, and he's asked for parole from Twitter, I think, or Facebook. They said, no. We've heard your case for a review, but go back into the slammer because we're not allowing you out again on Twitter. Is it Twitter or Facebook or both of them?
No, he's been banned for Facebook for 2 years, Gary. So, by the time that his ban expires, there's a lot of people around the world will just hope that he has nothing more to say. Although, there is talk that he's getting his comeback ready. And I'd be very personally surprised if we don't see him trying to re-enter the presidential race when it does come around.
He did have a little bit of a blast at North Carolina. He had a big show there, Phil, as only Donald Trump can have. But look, again, Phil, to wrap this up, I don't think we should be here. It's all about the contract tracing, and I believe. And I think at the end of all this, and let's hope it's sooner rather than later, there'll be a bit of a review about all of the different, descriptions of how bad COVID is in Victoria, the beast that got out in Victoria, the wildly virus, the moving at the speed of light.
Is this the same beast, Gary, that doesn't seem to make its way out of any hotel quarantine in any other state?
No, it's just a Victorian beast. It's like you've got the Tasmanian devil, which only was in Tasmania. You've got the Victorian beast, Phil. It's only confined to Victoria. It doesn't leave the state, Phil. It just stays here and ingratiates us with its presence. Anyway, enough.
And Gary, just to round off the week that was, a lot of chatter now. Yesterday's papers were full of the chatter about what is happening. Can you hear the doorbell? That is another package that is being delivered to our house, right? We're in competition between the Peers and the Kingstons to see who can end COVID with packages stacked up to the. I'm not even going to answer that doorbell, but I was going to say that the chatter in yesterday's papers, Financial Review and the Australian and the Age newspaper, Gary, being the well-read man that I am, the chatter is, of course, Victoria is not going to host the 2021 grand final. So this will be the second year in a row where we've lost it.
That must be a very expensive thing that your wife's ordered, because I can tell you now that doorbell's run more than once. They're going to get that that
I'm horrified about that. What I'm looking up at the screen as we speak. There's a guy there that just does not seem to want to go away, and I cannot get up. I cannot get up on the screen.
I can hear the truck beeping back, Phil, with all of the goods that they're going to drop in there. Yeah, to lose the grand final would be a horrific thing, Phil. Second year round, and to go to Perth, no less. We know what Perth thinks of all of us Victorians. It really does think that we're diseased people. Anyway, we're coming to you from the lockdown state, Phil, because people watch this show in other states and all around the world with GPTV. This week's edition, Phil, let's go into talking about some real estate, because how about Zoom auctions, Phil? They are going really, really well. I've got to say, I never really, I'm not the technology person. I like the touchy-feely stuff, Phil. I don't like doing it online, but...
Tell me, how's that well, the well that you've got in your garden?
Oh, it's good, Phil. Always fresh water from there, and there's been a bit of rain, so it's been really good.
Yes, that running water through taps will come to your house eventually, Gary. But in the meantime, there's nothing wrong with a well in the garden, is there?
I've been getting very fit too, pumping, cycling for the electricity. That's been another thing that's kept me going for the house. But Phil, 3 Hart Street auction on the weekend, sold. I'm not sure if the price is disclosed, but it sold close to $2.5 million, Phil, with 7 bidders. And that was way, way more than expected, because we thought we might get somewhere in the high 1s or 2, or maybe.
We never thought we were going to get something in the high 1s, Gary. Let's be clear. You can nod your head all you like, but there's the doorbell again. Can you excuse me why don't you just talk about the Zoom auction? I'll be back in 1 second.
I'll just talk about, it's so good to actually have him out of screen. Hopefully we're coming out of lockdown, viewers. They're talking about it having now been extended to after the long weekend. I've got some pretty good information, good mail, and it sounds like after the long weekend. So if you've got to file your nails or go and have a cup of tea, now's a pretty good time to see it. Or I can just continue to rant on. I'm happy to do that. It's actually good to have my voice, because Phil really does dominate these GPTV. He just loves the sound of his own voice, that guy. He doesn't stop. But you know what? He works hard, and he's been around a long time. And let's face it, he's not doing any auctions at the moment. So given he's not doing any auctions, he gets to hold all that energy in, and he gets to spend it on GPTV. Oh, thanks, Phil. Just having a nice chat with the viewers. So anyway, let's get back to the auction in Hart Street. Yes, that was the range, Phil, high 1s to 2. So we were expecting that. And I've got to tell you that it went way over expectation. And I think we had how many bidders? 7 bidders or something like that.
Gary, just goes to show what's possible. Ultimately, I think on the screen, and we might just flash up a bit of the footage that we've got, just a quick flash up there of the footage of the Zoom auction. We had to go to 2 screens. So there was about 20, I think there was somewhere between 20 and 30 people watching. Obviously, all of those 20 or 30 had an interest. But comparing, it was really well attended, and the thing that I find fascinating, Gary, is the consumer seems to be pretty comfortable with the whole Zoom auction formula.
Very comfortable indeed, Phil. It's really become, and I did bid for an auction for a lovely young lady on the weekend who I tried to help buy a property. We missed it, unfortunately, but it's kind of now a very comfortable forum in which people are happy to participate. So there you go.
Got a bit of a question for the viewers, Gary, because they're not shy in telling us what's what, our viewers, are they? They give us some feedback on behalf. But I made a comment on the Zoom auction, which I'm just curious as to whether I can say this in this pathetic, politically correct world in which we live. But one of the bidders on Zoom on Sunday is a woman with the most incredible smile. She has an incredible smile. And as she came up on screen, this charismatic, dazzling smile, I said, "Hello, person X. Nice to see you. What an incredible smile you have." And I thought to myself after I made the comment, can we say that sort of thing anymore? Are you allowed to comment in a positive fashion about somebody's appearance?
Well, Phil, we come from the school of Dale Carnegie. We all joined on the Compliment Club when we decided to be real estate agents, Phil. And part of being the Compliment Club is to pay people compliments. And, if we're in a world now where there's no more compliments able to be given because it's about objectifying or being misogynist, and we compliment men and women equally, and anybody else that identifies or has any other situation going on, which couldn't care less about, very, very happy to embrace and love everybody from every situation and background and sex, Phil. I don't know what we're going to do. If we can't give people compliments anymore, I don't know what world we live in, Phil. You know, I don't know why we should feel bad about saying to someone, that's a lovely tie. Gee, you look great today. What a fantastic smile. I mean, I don't know why that the truck unloaded yet, Phil.
I'm just waving to the delivery guy that now has the code to our house.
Yeah, that hallway of yours is looking very full, isn't it, Phil? The boxes keep loading in. But Phil, if we can't give people compliments, I don't know what we're supposed to do anymore, because quite frankly, I don't like where it's all going. I think to be able to say to someone, you look lovely today, and have to feel bad about that, I'm kind of over that, Phil. I'm going to give people compliments, and I don't care if it's
well, I'm curious as to what the viewers have got to say, particularly the 50% of our viewers, of course, are female. And the question is, I ask our female viewers and, of course, our male viewers, is me paying you a compliment, a sincere compliment? Like if you've got a shocking smile, right? You know, if you've got like a whole mouth there that just looks frightening every time you open it, I'm not going to say to you, what a beautiful smile you've got, when clearly that's not the case.
Well, what you could say is you could go, look, I really appreciate your attempt to see.
No, but if it's a genuine comment, I mean, this woman had a dazzling smile, one of those smiles that just lights up a screen, and not commenting is almost like, well, who do I think I am that I don't comment about a smile that just says wow. Anyway, if you are a woman and you're watching this show and you think in today's 21st century it is inappropriate for me to comment in a positive and genuine fashion, please let me know, because the last thing I want to do ever, Gary, the last thing I ever want to do is alienate anybody at our auctions. And goodness knows I do push the boundaries.
You know what? If you're a male or a woman, or you identify with the sex that you were born as, I've got to tell you, if you're upset by us giving you a compliment, too bad, because I don't believe that we are not going to give people compliments, Philip, because at the end of the day, if we've got to feel bad about saying to someone, you look nice, or you've got a nice smile, or lovely to see you, I don't know what the world's come to. And that's not a world, Philip, that I'm going to engage in, the world of non-compliment giving, because you can give me whatever compliment you like and you can criticize me too. I don't mind. But boy, if we can't tell people that they've got a lovely smile or they look nice, I'm not sure anymore what's going on. And
what a grey, dark world that will be, Gary. Yeah. This is a real estate show. It's not a lifestyle show. It's not a
political, economic.
It's not a Dear Aunt show, although you can't, you remember where you used to write into Dear Auntie? Well, you can't say that anymore, can you?
No, you
can't help the uncles out there, or the thunkles.
Exactly right. Look, we're getting so off track, Phil. I really think we're getting lost here in this show. But
well, it is a show about nothing, Gary. Let's be clear.
Yeah, coming from me from the lockdown state, did I say that? Anyway, I think also being inside, I think it's affecting people. I know that there's plenty of people, and look, the mail is, Phil, and by the way, the mail I get on lockdown is better than any mail I've ever got in the racing industry, Phil, or the racing world. The mail I've got in lockdown is very strong, that it's going to go till the end of Monday with some easing the days. Yes, that's the mail, Phil, and it's good mail, I can tell you now. It's going to continue, so I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I believe that it's because we don't have a great contracting system, and I really think that that's the heart of the issue, because it seems that there were so many more cases in Northern Beaches. People ran everywhere. There was no beast. There was no wildly contagious stuff. There was just a good contracting system that got it all today. Anyway, that's my opinion. My opinion, shoot me down for it if you will. And let's talk about real estate. 3 Hart Street, Phil. We know about that one. It was sold really well. Phil, we sold a property at 26 Neerim Road. What a stunning property this was. Sold before auction, Phil. The price is undisclosed, but we've sold a number of very beautiful prestige properties, Philip. Call it between $3.5 and $4.5 million, a number of them.
$3.5 and $5 million, Gary. We have been busy little munchkins in the last 5 weeks slamming and setting records left, right, and centre. So, viewers, if you are contemplating selling a house between $3 and $6 million, which seems to be a bit of a hot spot for us, Gary, if you've got a $3 to $6 million house, we'd love to hear from you, because we are transacting at a rate and a level that is unprecedented, Gary.
188 Neerim Road, Phil, was sold before auction. That was a property situated in those beautiful terrace houses that we sold in the 80s, actually, when they were initially renovated, Phil.
We did.
Sold this time for $1,488,000, I think. These are 140.
You really do need to get yourself a set of glasses, because you look at a screen, you scrunch your face up. It's ridiculous. Just wear your glasses.
Okay. What about, have you ever thought of getting a laser job done on your eyes?
I did speak to, I'm only recently wearing glasses almost full time these days, and they did say your eyes need to go to a certain point before they recommend it. So I reckon I'll end up with it, but not yet.
Okay, 12 and 29 Caulfield Road, Armidale, Philip. That one was sold for $380.
Yeah, put your glasses on.
$385,000, Philip.
Shout out to Dun and Joel, who transacted there. Great little sale, and what a great location to live in. And viewers, if you buy an investment property and it's within walking distance of tram, train, and shops, you just can't go wrong. I mean, tenants, that's what tenants want. They want to be able to, the walkability score, Gary, is what we call it. That property had a high walkability score.
Is that what we call it, is it, Phil?
And don't you like how I shook my head there when I said it? And that's just to give more substance to something I just made up on the spot.
Right. Okay, fair enough. So that's that's when you legitimize something. That's the ritual.
Yeah. If you go like this while you're talking, then that really means that you know what you're doing. It's the Dickie Knee approach for those viewers over 100 that remember who Dickie Knee was. Yes.
That's like when our fathers used to point the finger at you. They pointed the finger and shook it. That was when you didn't mess with it. You just took it as gospel. Phil, we've also sold a property in Mimosa Road. Jack Slater sold before auction. 205 and 112 Mimosa Road, Phil, for $730,000. And that was a very strong result, Phil. And well done to Jack and the team in Carnegie, who do such a wonderful job. Phil, we have got auctions this weekend scheduled, and I believe that they're going to go ahead whether there is lockdown or not, Phil, because if we have to go to Zoom, we will go to Zoom, Phil. We're going to be in Noble Park at 5 Pearl Court at 10 a.m. on Saturday. David Thompson auctions this wonderful 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property, Phil, with parking for 4 cars. But, Phil, we are going to be in Seymour Road also on Saturday. That is going to be at 12:30, Phil. Actually, I'm a little bit out of order here. Yes, no, I'm not out of order, Phil. Seymour Road, 146 Seymour Road. We reviewed it last week. That goes to auction at 12:30 on Saturday, Phil. Whether Zoom or on site. So we're going to talk about those that are Zooming or on siting, Phil. This is a great looking property. Leon Guzzenfit is excited about it. I'm not sure one of us is going to do the auction. We'll work out who later. Gorgeous
home, Gary. Absolutely gorgeous home. Everything to love there. And of course, Seymour is really in the top half dozen streets of Elsternwick.
It's hard to, you will not see more better real estate than that one, Phil, will you? Let's move on, Phil, because on Sunday, Queen's birthday, we're going to be in St Hubert's Road. That is due for 10:30 a.m. Graham Callan's going to be auctioning that one on site or Zoom.
Look, Gary, I mean, before we just discuss about property on Sunday, I mean, it's worthwhile me saying to the viewers, because they'll still have time, of course, to send some parcels, because goodness knows we need more parcels at my place. But Sunday is my birthday, Gary. And you know, it'd be great to see the whole GPTV community get behind that birthday. Just, you know, let's just get those packages happening. Like I want to be able, I don't want to be able to walk down the driveway without falling over packages or FedEx delivery people.
You know, for somebody who spent the first half of his life avoiding a birthday, you're now very vocal about it. You're out there giving people the date on the 13th of June.
Gary, I've just realised that the whole birthday parcel thing is you've got to embrace it, Gary. And viewers, a bit of a price limit. You know, I mean, I know it's awful to put a price limit on things, but go hard because in the world of pandemics, who knows whether we'll all be here next year to celebrate my or anybody's birthday. So what I would recommend is everybody goes really hard, ups the budget, maybe gives me a birthday present that's 10 years worth, just in case, none of us make it out of the lockdown cesspool.
Was it the year of your birthday, the day of your birthday, was that when it was sanctioned that 13 was an unlucky number? Is that where it came from? Because, there's always the origins, and when you look at the origins of certain things that stay with us, you look at why 13 was unlucky. Did it start in 1963?
Back on the 13th when I was born, Gary, when it was politically correct to smack babies, right?
Yeah.
So when I was born on the 13th, this is a true story, in the Cootamundra Public Hospital, they didn't smack me. They hung me from the ceiling like a piñata, and all the nurses and my mother took turns in whacking me as the piñata. So
I heard
the piñata's a Cootamundra invention. It's not a Mexican invention.
That was a party that went on for days, and how they laughed in Cootamundra and the surrounding towns as the new Kingston child got belted with the piñata stick, as he rightly should have. Let's move on, Phil, to our next auction. We're getting carried away here. We talked about St Hubert's Road, where I did my first auction, but this one's going to be Graham Callan at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday. Philip on Queen's birthday and Philip's birthday, 7A Emma Street, Phil. That's an auction that you'll be doing.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that, Gary. That's a beautiful town home, a town residence, beautiful home. The attention to detail, the finishes. This is a timeless piece of real estate, and congratulations to our vendor there, who is really one of our favourite whiskey drinking vendors, and may he be tremendously successful. Michael, shout out to you, Michael. We love selling for you.
And may I say, Phil, that's a street also with a high walkability factor. So another good address there. Let's move on to 2 and 1108 Dandenong Road, Carnegie, Phil.
You did that very well, Gary, except when you did it, I heard things rattle up from your head.
I think I'm going to have to go see John Chibley now and get some. I can't go and see him until after lockdown. Go and get a bit of a neck massage. If you want a good neck massage, go see John Chibley, masseuse, professional, Phil. Phil, let's move on, by the way, if we can, to the last auction of the weekend, which is 2 at 1108 Dandenong Road, Carnegie. This wonderful 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property, Phil, is going to be auctioned by Graham Callan. It's been handled by Dan Dyson through our Carnegie office. We've got a few properties to review, Phil, some special properties. I love this property in Thomas Street, Phil. You're going to be doing the auction scheduled for the 19th of June at 3:30 p.m. at the moment. Phil, this is a rear unit. It's a very beautiful property. It's been very, very nicely finished and fitted out. And I know we're looking forward to that one coming to the market, and I want us to pay a bit of a special mention to that. Also, Phil, we love Shuba Road. We've got this terrific property coming up at 46 Shuba Road, also coming up down the track. I just want to throw out a little bit of attention, special attention to that home also, Phil. So some great properties coming up, and the images, of course, on screen. And the other one I want to mention is that one in Bank Street, Phil. There's been a lot of attention and interest in that one. That one comes up in 2 weeks' time, the 19th of June. So looking forward to...
And keep in mind, Gary, all of the bidders there on auction day will be putting money in the bank.
They will be indeed, Phil. There's going to be one big happy vault party there in Bank Street, Phil. So we're looking forward to that. So there are a lot of properties coming up, Phil. We don't know what dates. We don't know if there's Zoom. We don't know if it's on site. We don't know what lockdown's going to happen. We don't know anything. It's part of the mystique and beauty of being in Victoria, Philip. All the uncertainty keeps us on our toes, doesn't it?
Move to Victoria, the cesspool state.
The lockdown state, the cesspool state. I'm sure it will come. One thing we know about Victoria, we fight back, Phil. We're fighters in Victoria. We're tough and resilient people. And Lord knows we're patient people and we're running out of it. But we'll come back, we'll strike back and still...
the contact tracing, Gary, in New South Wales is so good that this beast of a virus, Gary, gets to the border, looks across the border and goes, nah, no way, I'm not crossing this border. I know the moment I cross this border, I'm nabbed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The virus is not going to make it there. It's not going to get past the Murray, Phil. It'll get to the Murray and it will drown as soon as it tries to get out of there. As wild as the beast it is, it can't swim, that beast, that's for sure. It can do everything else. Hey, what about, how do they find in sewerage COVID in sewerage, Phil? And I want to know what that process is like and who has to do that job. Because, they say they found it now in the north in sewerage. They found COVID in sewerage. Do you understand the process around that? Because it's kind of a pretty awful concept. Really?
Well, clearly
Who got that job? Who got the job?
Clearly that virus, I mean, if you think about it, just so you know, we should get a scientist on, right, a poo scientist, because ultimately they're able to measure in the sewerage, because keep in mind, Melbourne apparently has got a whole lot of different sewerage points. So I think it all ends up in Werribee or somewhere like that. But ultimately there's testing points all around the city, and they can test for cocaine, they can test for a whole range of drugs, and they can actually determine the cocaine usage via analysing poo. So if you're a poo scientist that's watching this, we'd love to know how it's possible that somebody can snort a line of coke on Saturday night, go to the toilet Sunday, Monday or Tuesday, because I reckon if you do that much coke, you're probably not spending that much time on the toilet. But ultimately, from your nose to your poo, in the testing with everybody else's poo, you can find out how much cocaine is being snorted in Caulfield North, Gary.
Look, this might be a really bizarre question, Phil, but when we're in the world of recycling, do you think that cocaine goes back out in the community afterwards? I'm not sure whether that happens. And would that be an ecological positive thing to do?
Look, as my father sometimes says, Gary, sometimes it becomes a little boys' show. And I think we've definitely just sunk into that little boys laughing about tits, bum and poo. It's a wrap on GPTV. Let's bring it to an end. Viewers, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. It's a tough out there. We're all in this together, as I think our good Premier, who seems to have disappeared, said. We're all in this together. So thanks for watching. I'm Philip Kingston. Have a great week.
Coming at you from the lockdown state, I'm Gary Peer. We'll bring you all the real estate news next week after this man has his birthday. Happy birthday, Phil. We'll see you on GPTV next week. Thanks for watching.